and explain to you the subject to the best of my ability. Having done that, it is now for you to decide whether you want to accept the explanation I have given, and if you have accepted this explanation, to then act upon it. All right? I have done my job. 1, 2, 3. Yes?
There's an institution in Sydney called the MCCA, and they lend money on the principle that they buy a flat and the amount they buy is all you pay back. But let's say, for example, you bought the flat for $1,000 or whatever you bought it for. You pay rent to them according to how much you paid back. So say you paid half the flat back and pay half the rent at the market value.
In order for this principle, this method to work, to be halal, the house is on sale for $100,000. I put up 10,000. The investment company, which does not have to be Muslim, puts up 90,000. It does not have to be Muslim. And we now have a partnership. We bought the house on the basis of a partnership. They own 90% of the equity. I own 10% of the equity. We now have a partnership. The partnership now signs an agreement with me, which is a rental agreement, that I will rent the house at the market rental value, not at the rental value that Mr. 90% determines. Not at the rental value that one of the partners unilaterally determines. Not on that basis. On the basis of the market rental value, which is determined through a valuation, a business valuation.
What if the rent is set at the average of the state?
Let me repeat one more time.
Yes.
Islam operates on the basis of the market, not the state. The state does not determine market price. The market determines market price. So you get a business valuation which determines the value, the rental value. And both parties must decide upon that third party who will be the valuation. When we get the market rental value, not the rental value unilaterally determined by one partner, at that market rental value, the house is now rented. When the rent is paid every month, 90% goes to that partner and 10% comes back to this partner. This is a separate transaction, independent transaction. So long as I have 10% of the ownership, the equity, I get 10% of the rent. The lease is, say, for 1 year. At the end of 1 year, we have another market valuation to determine whether the rental value should remain the same or go up or go down. Every year, we have a new lease. Okay? Now, in addition to this, we have a second agreement. And the second agreement is that the partners who own the property are responsible to the extent or proportionate to their ownership, responsible for taxes. So you will pay 90% of the taxes, and I'll pay 10. Responsible for maintenance, so you'll pay 90% of the bill for maintenance, and I'll pay 10. And that the partners have the permission to agree upon one partner increasing his equity. So I want to increase from 10 to 20. Anytime I want to increase my equity, anytime I want to buy from my partner, we will have to determine the market value of the house, because that market value changes. We will not operate on the original purchase price of the house. No. Every time I buy from you, we determine the market value. Therefore, we determine the market value of the portion I want to buy. I pay you. my equity increases from 10 to 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, etc. When I have bought you out, then the house is mine, and you transfer the total ownership to me. This is a halal transaction. I have not found it anywhere in the world today, except for one instance I have found in San Francisco. Only one. Was your hand up in the beginning? No. No.
I think I have a very important question.
That gentleman there.
Which man? Yes.
Yes.
In a situation, if somebody buys a house, borrows money in the bank, say buys a house for $150,000, and say 4 or 5 years down the track, he realises that it was haram, and he decides to repent and sell the house. Okay? He bought the house for $150,000, he sold the house at the market value, which is about $300,000. Is he entitled to the profits?
Yes.
Is he entitled to all the
I just mentioned it. فَمَنْ جَاءَهُ مَوْعِظَةٌ مِّن رَبِّهِ فَانْتَهَى فَلَهُ مَا سَلَفَ وَأَمْرُهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ. You don't have to give away that profit as charity. You don't have to give away or leave it with the buyer, reduce the price. No. Yes?
I just want to know the charges. Is that riba too? Because like you send money overseas, they put the charges at you. So is that riba?
If money is being transported, then the person who receives it is not using that money, it's just in a bag. He has no access to that money. And he's just taking the money from one place to another. Why should he do that free of charge? Why should he do that free of charge? He's taking his time, he has to use his horse, his Toyota Camry. So, to move money from one place to another, alright, that is something for which you should have to pay the person who is working. However, what we have today is not the movement of money, but the movement of paper and the movement of electronic money. Alright? If I give you 10 gold coins and I say, take this to Melbourne for me, I ought to compensate you for your time and your effort. But this is halal money. When you're transporting or moving haram money, how can we get a halal fatwa? No, the money is haram. You pay your zakat, and you took paper money to pay your zakat. The paper money is haram. I want to know what kind of mathematical formula I have to use to get haram to deliver halal. Beyond me, I never studied that chapter in mathematics. This is haram. How can halal emerge from haram? Alright? Can we ask last two questions and then?
I think the Sheikh raised
Yes.
is a disturbing and important one.
The Sheikh has not raised the point. The Sheikh has deferred with me.
I know
Alright, here we are.
that's his right to do that, but it looks like a lot of Muslims have this problem. They argue that just because they're Muslims, why should they be poor? Why should they own a house? But this is only because simply you should not contract any haram thing. But I think you should respond to him. I think that's
Next one. Last question.
Thanks, Sheikh, giving me the opportunity to ask this question. My question is basically on that the slavery system existed in Islamic society. If that system was legal, on what basis the transaction had taken place between the master and the slave? Because I'm not very sure about this topic, and if you think today's the right time, probably
If you come here, mic problem.
Islam did not institute slavery. Islam responded to slavery with reciprocity. Because we responded to slavery with reciprocity, there was buying and selling of slaves. That was a halal transaction, not an illegal transaction. Once it's a halal transaction, there is no riba there unless there is deception. Once the enemy stops enslaving our people in warfare, we reciprocate. We would not enslave unless Allah commands enslavement, because Allah has done that. Allah has ordered the people to be enslaved. So long as the enemy does not enslave our prisoners of war, we will not enslave their prisoners of war. There is no other means through which people can be enslaved. Alright? رَبَّنَا تَقَبَّلْ مِنَّا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ السَّمِيعُ الْعَلِيمُ وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا يَا مَوْلَانَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ بِرَحْمَتِكَ يَا أَرْحَمَ الرَّاحِمِينَ آمين يا رب العالمين.
يا بيت القدس لنا أمل ستعود